It's time for Access the Experts from the University of Nebraska at Omaha with your host, Brandon Axamit.
Hello and welcome to another edition of Access the Experts on News Channel Nebraska, where every Tuesday and Thursday, University of Nebraska at Omaha faculty members answer today's questions facing our state. Now today we have the pleasure of hearing from Dr. Dusty White, who is an assistant professor of economics at UNO. So Dr. White, today's question is, what will job prospects look like after the pandemic?
Thank you, Brandon. Looking at job prospects after the pandemic, there's a few big things that I see and expect. The first of which is that I expect there to be greater job flexibility for a lot of people. As we have learned in the pandemic, it's not as hard as we imagined to work from home. There is, at least on the work side, right? You know, on the family side, it could be different. But from the work standpoint, we do have the technology to be productive from home. We have the ability to have meetings virtually. We have the ability to collaborate remotely. And in addition, we have the ability to work at different times. And so job flexibility is one of the big things that I see coming out of the pandemic as a new job feature. What this means for workers is, I think, a lot more flexibility and the ability to be a little bit choosier about who you work for. Because if you can work remotely, you can work for someone in, say, Seattle while you live in Omaha, or you can live in Omaha and work for someone globally, which is a really awesome opportunity for people who want to stay close to family, but also want to have more job opportunities. And so I see that as being probably the biggest change based on what we've seen from the pandemic and what we'll see going forward. Additionally, given that people have started to realize that maybe work isn't the thing they want to be focused on the most in their life, what we've also seen is that workers are starting to realize they have a bit more leverage, right? If there's a national market for their talent, they can negotiate with multiple firms. They can find the job that fits them best, both in benefits and in salary. And so as we move out of the pandemic, we should see a lot more leverage for workers as they look for jobs. And we've seen this even locally, as wages for people from service jobs all the way up have been increasing significantly in very short amounts of time. And so we expect to see that leverage for workers continue, particularly given that so much of the workforce in the United States is aging and may begin to consider retirement. That will give those who are still in the workforce additional leverage to be able to negotiate for flexible work schedules or for increased salaries in the future. On top of this, I think we'll see different kinds of jobs. You know, we've seen a lot more work in terms of remote delivery, right? So we see groceries being delivered. That wasn't really something that we did nearly as much before the pandemic, at least in the Omaha area. And as we move through the pandemic, we've created a lot of new and different kinds of jobs to serve those needs of people who want more flexible delivery of goods and services. And so basically all of it comes down to flexibility in jobs. Thank you so much. And if you want to learn more, check out unomaha.edu.
Thank you, Dr. White, for sharing your expertise on the topic. Now for our viewers at home, we want you to interact with UNO's experts. So if you have a question that you want answered, go to newschannelnebraska.com.
Access the Experts, presented by the University of Nebraska at Omaha. If you have questions, submit them on our website and join us on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 6:46 a.m. while we answer your questions.